Okay, so what I see in the change of political life with the movement towards the Hellenistic successor states is we see political life changed as the Greeks had less roles to play. Their system was disrupted and things changed. We do see women taking more control and leadership, but that doesn't always play out. What we also see is there was a shift towards a more central leader rather than the overall democratic style that we had with the Hellenic Greeks. Social life also changed during this time period, and it was a really big shift. While I personally didn't see a huge difference in marriage and divorce, with divorce being more common in the Hellenistic period, of course, there was a big change with how women were seen. Women were able to do more political things and hold power in the Hellenistic period, when they were just pulling strings in the Hellenic times. This shows how much more power women gained in that time period. They were also allowed to compete in public against others in a way that hadn't really been seen before. Rural areas also had more connections. Jobs increased, of course, in a business way rather than focused on art and creating things. Science expanded, and overall, people were more accepting of others because there was more understood about the outside world. Within religion, looking at the cultural life and how that changed, there was a shift from the Hellenic style of having gods but questioning them and even pondering their existence, versus a more God-focused religious structure of the Hellenistic society. Here we see one of our earliest instances of of having only one God. So that really just shows us how there was a shift in culture and how gods were perceived. Overall, art evolved, but there was a movement away from the classic Greek style and a movement towards art that was more material. So instead of it being a piece to celebrate and a piece to show off, it was a piece to show off, but in a person's own home, rather than just letting anyone see it or having public access to it. It was a show off of wealth. When we look at literature, the Hellenic period had Homer's epics as one of the most noted writings of the time. The Hellenistic period had pastorals instead. So they focused on worlds outside of our own, rather than like when Homer's epics stayed in a world that they knew that was just old. Drama was big in Greece, of course. When you see the Hellenistic shift, you see new comedy come about. So tragedies of the Hellenic age were still around, but comedies became much more popular during this time period. Thank you.